Why do I write? I write because I can't. I suppose because it's what I've always been passionate about doing. It's what I always wanted to do. I write because I make up stories. That's why I write. And because even before I was a writer when I was a little boy, that's what I did in my head. Was I made up stories. And what you do when you make up stories is eventually you write them down. Or I suppose possibly you make them as films or whatever you do. But I write because I make up stories, and it's the best way of recording a story is in writing. I think just because I'm watching it right now, I would like the DVD box set on my desert island. I'd like The Office. I've just been watching it again. I just think it's wonderful. So I think I could watch that a repeated number of times. And I would also want. I think today I'll say Fawlty Towers, because I love Fawlty Towers as well, so it's a big old comedy. And then I want a remarkable box set, which is all of Doctor Who from 1963 till about 20 years in the future, because obviously I'd have to have lots of Doctor Who in my desert island. I have, for the first time in my life, a really, really good office in my house. We've just moved house, and I chose a room, and it's got a wonderful view of the garden, a lovely big garden we've got now, and I've got a weeping angel standing at the end of my garden that I can just see from where I'm sitting at my desk. And it's on the ground floor. I used to work upstairs, so the kids will all come in and see me when they come home from school, and I've got a sofa, and they can sit with me on my sofa. And I really like that my new office, where I do most of my writing, or 95% of it, feels like in the center of the house. It feels like I'm part of the world again. I used to feel I was closeted away upstairs, but now whereas writing should be part of life. It shouldn't be squared away somewhere, squirreled away somewhere. It should be right in the middle of your house, and I really like that. I have never experienced anything other than writer's block. That is the condition of writing. Writer's block, embrace it, know it. It is your internal editor. It is telling you you haven't got it right yet. You can't write what you want to write, or the scene that you're going to write, or the chapter you're going to write. For one reason, it's not right yet. So listen to that voice and sit in agony until it all blossoms in your head. It's not a fault. It's just you haven't got it yet. I think when I start writing a character, I start with a cliche. I start with probably a plot requirement, or I think this could be the dippy one, this could be the funny one. And I write them for a few pages, and sometimes especially in the early days, I let those scenes ramble a bit, and then I'll hit a line, which I think I didn't expect that. That's a bit odd. Why are they saying that? I'll go back and I'll cut all the rest of the scene. I'll have that line, and I sort of grow it out from that. I mean, a character in a TV show, even a novel, is not as full a thing as one in real life. They aren't. I mean, people in real life are about 20 different people in a given day, depending on who they're talking to. It's more, I think a character in a TV show is more like a fully realized, detailed attitude, a person of that type. But the truth is, I think about myself during the day, when I think about me wittering here, or what I'm like with my kids, or what I'm like when I'm frustrated and can't write, or what I'm like with my wife when we're alone and all that. These are completely different people. If I wrote somebody like that, it would seem incoherent. Possibly does seem incoherent anyway. And I'm going to cheat again because I've just been watching The Office recently, and I thought there was an anguished moment of pure beauty in The Office when it was between Tim and Dawn, and there are kisses being sold for comic relief, and he gives her £1 and she says, and of course they're both terribly in love, but they haven't admitted it, and she says, well, you have to have your kiss now, and so they have a kiss, and there's this brief, incandescent kiss. It's the sexiest thing you've ever seen, and they're almost physically stunned by it. But it's so real and so contained that I think today I'm nominating that as my favourite bit of TV drama, even though it's in a comedy, and I wouldn't have given you that answer yesterday. It's a very, very odd role, the showrunner, and when we say showrunner, the job doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in any real form at all. It's the lead writer and executive producer, or rather, it's the one of the executive producers who is also the lead writer. It's the person with producer in their name who's absolutely bloody useless, and will be unable to book a camera crew or tell you who the caterers are or any of those important grown-up things. Your job really is, more than anything, you've got to write a lot of scripts, you've got to rewrite a lot of other people's scripts, you've got to help other writers, you've got to go to a lot of meetings and all that stuff. But really what you're there to do is to say in different ways every single day, just send out a consistent message. This is the show we're trying to make. It's like this. And it's a very long, complicated sentence that you never stop uttering. You're just saying, we're trying to make this. It's not like that, it's like this. It's like that scene from that film, but it's not like that scene from this film. It's like you're just signaling away, we're trying to make this. That's what you're for. You're not there for your ability in meetings or recruitment. You're not there for your managerial ability. You're there to be the person who sort of sings the note. This is the note we're trying to hit. I say that as the worst singer in the world, so God knows what that would actually be like. My new advice for emerging writers is always, seriously, I keep saying it, I know it's boring, but it's all about love. It really is. It's all about love. Write what you love. Write what you are passionate about. Don't write something because you think somebody else will like it. Don't even think what they're going to think. Just write something because it makes you laugh, or it makes you cry, or it makes you thrilled. Write for yourself and write for what you are absolutely passionate about and love. And sometimes, not all the time, this is not a guarantee of any kind. It could be the greatest load of cack you come out with at the end of that. But sometimes other people will see what you love too. It will never work if you try and write. It will just never ever work. This is a guarantee. If you try and write what you think, other people want, it will never work. No one has ever written anything of any value doing that. Right, well, surprisingly enough, and I'm sure people will be astonished to learn what I'm working on at the moment, is a sort of combination of Sherlock and Doctor Who. I am right at this moment writing Sherlock, the season finale, or very short season finale. A third of the series is the finale. So I'm writing my third Sherlock I've personally done. That'll be the 9th one we've made, which I had a very good time on the train coming to Leeds. I wrote really well, just suddenly out of the blue. I got a proper run on, and I actually felt I'd written some good stuff. So that's what I'm writing. I'm involved we've just locked off the Doctor Who 50th, which is obviously a very exciting project. And so we've just agreed, no effects yet, nothing like that. It all looks rubbish. So over the next few weeks, I'll be seeing effects shots, and there'll be the score and the dub, and we'll start to see what if we've made something good or not. I am contemplating. I'm in the early stages of working out. Well, not that early. We're shooting in about 10 weeks. What Matt Smith's finale as the Doctor is going to be. How we're going to off him and replace him with another. And I am working with other writers on the season 8 scripts for whoever our new Doctor is, which is, and I've just had 2 scripts in today from a couple of my favourite writers. So I'm looking forward to reading them on the train home. I think I nailed something really well when I wrote Blink for Doctor Who. I think I was really proud of that. I mean, I didn't know immediately that it was a great episode. I remember Judy Garner telling me that's your best one, and I said, it can't be if the Doctor's not in it. But over time, I've realised that was an important moment. And A Scandal in Belgravia for Sherlock, I was extremely proud of. I really felt that I got something in the script that was really rather good and twisted and romantic and awful, but good. And I remember Mark Gates saying to me, "This is the best thing you've ever done," and he always says that's the best Sherlock. That's the one that he's proudest of, sort of. So I'll say A Scandal in Belgravia and Blink, and I will offer you this piece of ridiculous trivia. They're both shot in the same house. The house that Irene lives in is the same house as Sally Sparrow visits the Weeping Angel in. So there's a house in Newport that houses the only 2 writing BAFTAs I have. So there you go. I think the future is probably more fascinating right now than I'm capable of comprehending, because it's going to change completely. We still think that television drama is going to be what it is now, and it's not. Television is going to look like iPlayer in a heartbeat. My kids grow up in a world where my son prefers to watch television on his iPad because the interface is better. I don't want to sit in a room over there and wait until it's available. I'll just watch it on iPlayer on my iPad. I think the whole notion of, I think it was very interesting what Netflix did, releasing a whole series at a time. Why not? I think the whole notion of things like episode length might change radically in the time to come. We've been used to the idea that television episodes are 50 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour. Well, we're about to head into a time when scheduling doesn't exist, that you're downloading your television shows. Why does every episode have to be the same length all of a sudden? What if you had a 6-minute episode? followed by a 2-hour episode. Why not? Why, the rules that have formed that are about to disappear. The reason I say that is I was fascinated to see that when we did the prequel for, and I know I'm misusing the word and I just don't care, for the most recent series of Doctor Who. It's called Pond Life, and it was written by the very brilliant Chris Chibnall. It was just a few minutes, about 4 or 5 minutes long, and it got, I think, 6 million hits. It got an audience of 6 million. You think at that point, that's not additional online content. That's a television program. That's a proper television program. I think we're going to get more things like that, and I think that's exciting, because what if you had an idea for a Sherlock episode that was half an hour long? Why not? Why not just make it a world in which you can just make the half an hour long one, because that idea is going away. The idea that television, that you will watch television when you choose to and where you choose to, rather than being told to by a television schedule or a channel. I think that's fascinating too. Your bookcase doesn't tell you when you can read. Why should your television tell you when you can watch? I think it's going to change radically, but I honestly believe it's going to change for the better.